Hi everyone. So today we're going to do the bypass disable functions CTF on TryHackMe. Now this CTF contains a file upload vulnerability and you'll see how it's done. Now before we start, I'd like to break down because file upload vulnerability has a few subcategories like lack of file type validation, no file size limit, and insufficient validation. Now, to get a better understanding um, for these three types of vulnerabilities, I'll explain them for the newbies and people who are new to pen testing, so everybody will understand this. So let's say for lack of file type validation, we have a box that turns everything into a toy. Sometimes people would put things in that box like a scary monster, for example, and the box in this case isn't checking if it's a toy or a monster. So to sum it up, the box is basically a web page where we upload, in our case, our resume or CV. A toy would represent the extension of a file like PDF, JPEG, Docs, GIF, which we're going to use to cover our malicious script, and the monster represents a malicious file. So the web page in this case isn't checking whether if it's a legitimate PDF or docs or JPEG file or if it's a malicious file. So we're gonna mask it. Now, no file size limit. Imagine you have a backpack with no limit how many things you can put in it. In this case, people can sneak in very big and heavy things, making your backpack too heavy to carry. And last but not least, uh, insufficient validation. Now, let's say there is a game called Match the Shape, but in this case you can put any shape in any shaped hole. Let's say, for example, I put a triangle in a circle hole, but we all know the triangle goes into the triangle hole. You can put a rectangle in a circle hole, etc., etc. But in this case, the web server doesn't validate it. So we can put a triangle in a circle hole and it will say, yep, that's it, you're okay, pass through. So that's insufficient validation. Now, to get a little bit better understanding of the goal here, what is the goal of this CTF created by Stuxnet, which is, by the way, a great CTF. It falls into the category of informational CTFs. It's great for beginners. Now, I created a little bit of attack architecture here. So we have a hacker, that would be us, and we're going to create a file .php.gif, mask it with a GIF in our case, and we're going to send it to this web page. Once the web page accepts the malicious file, it will send a request with file.php .gif to the server. Now, before we go any further, we're gonna set up a listener with Netcat in our terminal, and then we're gonna tell the server, hey, we can execute the file.php, and it will automatically, if everything is all right, it will open a session and boom, we're in. So that's what I wanted to explain. Now we're not gonna use this anymore. One tool that we're going to use here that is probably new to most of you is chankro. I'll put the link in the description. It's a very useful tool. this is the repository of chankro tool, and it's explained everything, how to install it and how to use it. But no worries, I'm gonna guide you through it, through the installation and through the usage. We're gonna do it together. Now, as always, let's get started. So I'm gonna start here with Nmap, but before that, right, I need to, yeah, just if you wanna read this first task, be my guest, read it, of course. If you have any questions or some tips or, critics, please let me know in the comments. But when you read this, just click here to complete this task and we can move on together. There is only one flag to complete this task. So it should be an easy enough CTF. So let's start the machine. And we're gonna wait here. Oh, right. Before we go any further, if you're using an online THM's attack box, feel free to use it. I'm using my Kali machine. For those of you who are using your Kali machines, just don't forget to go to Access, download the OpenVPN file, and run your OpenVPN with that file. And of course, please check it. If you're connected to the VPN, you should get a tunnel here with the IP. And another thing is what I like to do is, just in case, I ping the IP of the domain that we're going to attack here, just to see if it's reachable. So just a second here. And yep, I'm in. I should be fine. And let's go to that web page. Now here, we're gonna go directly apply job, and this is where we're going to upload our file, and I guess this is the button for submitting. So let me just clear this, and we're gonna use Nmap first. Actually, you know what? We're not gonna use Nmap here. I'm feeling lucky, so let's go and use GoBuster to see through directories. So let's go GoBuster there for directory -u, which is going to be we're implicating on the domain that we're going to scan the directories for, and paste your IP. Then we're gonna go -w for the word lists that we're going to use, and we're gonna go /user share word lists dear buster or dear common.txt. One thing, maybe it will work without sudo. Let's see. Yep, it works without sudo. It's fine. So we're gonna wait for this to finish and see what we can do. We have assets here, but I don't know if that will help much. Let's see what else we get. Okay, we have php.php. This is definitely something that we're going to use in this CTF. And we have uploads. Let's go to uploads first. Okay, here We're actually, when we upload our script, this is where it's gonna be. So later on, we're gonna return to this page. Let's go here for now. And now, when we got these results, what we're going to do, we're going to actually install chankro and use it. So we're going to use chankro and create a reverse shell. So you're gonna go just follow the instructions on the GitHub. You can't miss it, like installation. So you're gonna go git clone and then this link of the repository. When it installs, you're gonna go into the folder of the chankro. I would recommend installing it on a familiar path, a path that is familiar to you, like downloads or home or whatever is more convenient for you. And we're gonna run it with Python 2. Now, the commands are explained on the GitHub, but I will explain it anyway. I will explain them anyway in this walkthrough. So let's do it. If you installed chankro, we're going to go cd chankro. Now, what we have? We have chankro.py. This is something that we need to run. But before you run it, we're gonna go and make it executable. So chmod +x chankro.py, right? Now mine is already executable, so I'm not gonna run this command. Chmod start it stands for change mode, and +x means we want to make it executable. So now, if we got that out of the way, I already created a shell. I named my file shell. You can name it however you want. So you're gonna go nano shell. You can go nano and name the file. And we're gonna open it. Now here, this is the command that we're going to use for the script. Now don't worry, I will explain and break down the command so you will get a better understanding. I will do it technically and non-technically. So we have a bash, right? Bash here says, it basically specifies we're using bash shell. Dash C allows us to specify a command to be executed by our shell. Dash I allows us to run the script in interactive mode. It basically means once the connection is established, it will allow us to interact with the shell. Greater than ampersand is basically a file descriptor manipulation. In this case, it's redirecting the standard output and the standard error to the specified destination. Then we have /dev/TCP. For those of you who don't know what TCP is, who are new to networking and stuff, it's Transfer Control Protocol. Then you want to put here your IP. So not the target's IP, but your IP here. Just reload here. Yep. So you want to do with this IP. Now, the next thing here is the port, which you can leave it as 1234. If you guessed it, if you were guessing, you guessed it right. We're going to use netcat, and we're going to go with a default port of 1234. Now we have 0 greater than &1. This will basically, oh, sorry, I didn't explain this part here before we proceed to 0 is equal to $1. Basically, this command dev tcp RIP port 1234, it will specify the destination where to output and error streams are redirected. In this case, it will create a network connection to our IP on port 1234 using special file, or in this case, dev TCP. And that is where reverse shell will connect to. Now, moving forward, 0 is greater than $1. This will redirect standard input to the same destination as standard output. This will make our script bidirectional, which means it will allow us interactive network communication. Now let me break this down for the people who are new to this. Don't be not to be confused, or don't be scared that we all started from 0, okay? So let me sum this up. Let's say I have two phones, okay? And I gave my phone to one phone to my friend that moved away and now lives far away, but I wanted to keep in touch. To do this, I need to call my friend in order to speak to them or listen to them. And the same goes for my friend. We both take turns in speaking and listening to each other. In this case, the call button is bash-c, right? But inside this code, we have a special command that is like, let's say, special or secret handshake, which is this under the single quotation marks. Don't forget to put those. So we have single quotation marks here at the beginning and at the end. Now, this, let's call it secret handshake. We can say we are making a secret phone call here. So to translate that to attack surface, we're talking about two phones are basically two PCs, our PC and the PC or server that we are attacking. But we don't want anyone else to know that we are attacking. So that's about it. I hope this clears things up. If not, let me know in the comments. I'll work on that also. Now let's hit Control O, Enter, and Control X to get out. Now, what we are going to do, we are actually going to use chankro. So we're going to go Python 2 chankro.py. Two dashes, arch, which stands for architecture. Now there are two types of architectures, which is we have 32-bit architecture, 64-bit systems. We're going to use 64 here. We have an input, which is in our case shell. Well, in my case, it's shell. For you, whatever you name the file. Next, we're going to go output. Now, output is basically our PHP file. So name your PHP file however you want. Just put the extension at the end .php. So I already have here the PHP file. Yeah, just for fun, I'm going to create another one. So I'm going to do with one here. And we have a path here to specify where how is this going to be connected? Where do we want this file to be uploaded? So for this particular, let's say, command here, this is why I told you we need php info.php. Now, for some reason, if you type it in manually, it won't give you the PHP information about that file. It will display an error, so just paste with a // paste that php Let's go there. Okay, now here uh, we're looking for Apache environment, and we're looking for document root. So in document root, we find this path, and you're gonna copy this path and just paste it here. In CTFs, there is a lot of research, of course. It depends from the, if it's easy, if it's hard CTF, medium, informational in this case. Uh, I would recommend to be thorough through your research. So go through each and every extension you get and see what is most familiar for you. For this instructional video, I already prepared um, the information that I got when I was doing this CTF. So it will go a little bit faster, but you can be my guest and just, go through each and every single file. We're not looking in this case to demolish the machine completely. We're looking just to get that flag. So now that we got our path, we can hit enter. And there, in 1 second, our final PHP file is done. Now, before we go any further, I'm gonna use mousepad as a, as a text editor. You can use Nano, mousepad, you can use VS Code, you can use any text editor that you want, but I'm using mousepad. So you're gonna type in the name of your text editor and you're gonna type in the name of the PHP file that we just created and enter. So now you can see a big pile of gibberish here, right, with a hook. And what we're going to do, we're going to go enter here, and above we're going to type in GIF 89A and semicolon, and we're going to save that. Now GIF, I understand that everybody knows what it is, but A here stands for animation, right? This small a here. And 89 actually stands for the standard that was introduced in 1989, which is GIF. GIF is basically introduced. Uh, this standard of GIF was introduced in 1989, and it replaced one standard from 1987. Now, since I'm done being a smartass, I'm going to save this and we can close this. Now what we are going to do, we are going to start netcat. Actually, not start just yet, but we're going to type in the command here. Now, if you watch my previous video, you can see that you will maybe remember that L stands for listening, P for port that we are using, V for verbose, and N for numeric IPs only. So let's go back because we're done with this. Back to the apply job page and let's browse for our file. Let's go, my chankro is in home directory, so let's go to chankro. And here we're gonna click on a created PHP file, right? Actually modified PHP file, but created. And we're gonna send that file, and before we click submit, We're going to start netcat here, and now we're going to submit. And now you can see here that we got an OK pass. But that's not all. We're still, as you can see here, we're still not in. Why is that? Because we didn't trigger an execution to that file. So what we need to do, remember, we need to go to uploads as before that we were checking, and here is the script. Now we're going to just click on the script, it executes, and we got this, and now we should be in. And yep, we're in. Let's see where we are. We're in PWD. Okay, let's go to home directory, and let's go list the items. Here we have ls. Okay, nothing to do there, and we have I'll take a wild guess, savvy is a user, so let's go into savvy, and let's list the items here, and we have a flag. Oops, cat flag.txt. And there we have it. We have our flag.